All right, so excuse me, I want to make a quick down and dirty video. I'm putting together a travel board, and I bought a second Bakfram from Pladask Elektrisk, and it's not really going to work on this board because it's pretty small. Don't really have enough room, sadly, but I have it on my other board. I love it. So I'm going to sell this one to my buddy Joe, for exactly what I got it, because I'm not a whore. Anyway, so for him and for everybody else, I'm going to do a quick down and dirty video just to go over some of the controls, because I don't know that they're confusing, but maybe. Not really, but maybe the manual's not super clear. So anyway, I'm going to turn up the monitors. This might get loud. Anyway, here's a crappy little loop. I was testing a volume pedal. I was testing the draw on a new volume pedal that I got. Getting used to it. So please excuse this crappy loop, but at least it starts from zero, which I couldn't do because this isn't on the floor with my guitar. All right, enough jibba jabba. Here's the loop, so you can hear that first. Right? So, Bakfram is, I'm Norwegian, so I can try to say it at least correctly. Right now it's in the forward direction with no octave, and I'm going to show you all how to do that. Clock down, I mean, you can see this, right? Clock is like at 10 o'clock. We'll put the mix in the middle. Mods at like 10 o'clock. Volume you have to put to taste by A-Being. The loop is pretty low, around 8 o'clock, and time is at 2 o'clock. All right, here we go. So yeah, I wanted to show you how the clock interacts with the other controls, how it affects everything. So that was just time stretching with the loop low in a forward direction. Again, here's the loop. Bakfram. So after I turned off the loop, it held on to it because it's stretching. This switch, the loop switch, what that does is that takes this from minimum to maximum. So wherever you have this set, it goes to maximum. It's basically a hold switch. It's not looping anything in theory, technically. It's holding it and it's maxing it. It's like hitting the max switch on a reverb where it's maxing it full. So it's taking the loop switch all the way up we'll show you that real quick before I go on to some other things. So I turned off the ditto looper, and it held on to that signal until I turned it off, because it's just maxing the freeze loop. Okay? Cool. So real quick, another thing. So how to change direction. So if you want to change direction from forward to reverse, I mean, it started out as a reverse delay. You hold down this, and left of 12 o'clock, counterclockwise, boom, now you're in reverse. So let's hear that. So you can see I turned off the ditto. It keeps going for quite a while. Still kind of ringing out. So that's how you go from forward to reverse and back again, okay? The way you get octave down, octave up, and both is you hold the switch, right? Now you're in octave down. Right? Cool, right? So, and then octave up. This is both. This is octave down and octave up. Again, holding the bypass switch and turning this now clockwise rather than counterclockwise. Clockwise, holding bypass affects this side. Counterclockwise, holding bypass affects the direction on this side. So now this is both up and down octave. Right? So ditto was off, kept holding. So now if you want it to go back, you hold it down. Now it's just, so we went from low octave to both, and now the upper octave, which I never use because I know ambient people love it. It sounds squirrely to me in any device, but I'm sure there's a cool use for it somewhere, maybe in church music. So here you go. Right. So let's get rid of that. And then now we're back to no octave. So you can have low octave, upper and lower, upper or no octave, which is really kind of cool. So that was reverse direction, no octave, and I put the freeze on. So pretty cool. So the last thing that I think needs to be discussed, so the time stretching, that goes from, very low time stretching to very high. When you go full on, you're freezing it, okay, which can be cool. But I tend to operate somewhere in, like 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Once in a while I use the freeze, it's cool. But the loop is, I think, I'm trying to remember from the manual, there's like non-destructive and destructive. Anyway, so how much that loop is being, this side is also regeneration, so this is time stretch, this is loop regeneration. Down here is like it's destructive, and then non-destructive, but you're holding the loop of the time stretching in essence. It's all in the manual. I'm probably getting that a little bit wrong. I just go by feel with that. But again, the key thing to remember is this is 0 and full on is frozen. This is, the counterclockwise I think is destructive, but full on is like hitting that switch for this side. You dig? So generally, for me, I try to keep it relatively low. So, again, between like 8 and maybe this side 2 o'clock, because then I can always hit the switch. So I hope that gives you a little rudimentary background. The clock is very important, as I think you saw how it interacts with the other knobs. It's a feel, textural thing. I love the Bakfram. I use it all the time. And I think it's much easier than, say, a Fabrikat or something like that. But Nut at Pladask makes amazing, very musical things that, are tuned very well. I have his drum down here. This is his drum. You can see in the bottom of the screen. That's his reverb. Ridiculous. I have Fabrikat. I have a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. Fantastisk. Anyway, if you have any questions, post below. And I'll see you next time.